So you're not going to blame all Jews, but unfortunately, there's a large amount of them that have been radicalized, and hopefully something can change with that because it's not good, and it seems like they have complete control over America through APAC and other means. It's a tough situation. I do feel bad for the Jews that are strongly against it though, because it is like their whole name is being dragged. Guys like Dave
There's been
Smith.
a lot of that. Jake, what's his name? Jacob, the comedian. He's been like how many flotillas or whatever?
Yeah,
just trying to break the blockade, supposedly.
Guys like Dave Smith, Glenn Greenwald that are Jewish.
Dave Smith, I mean, you got to like the guy risking his life too.
Mm-hmm. No, he could definitely be
risking his life too.
No, a lot of the Jews.
And you know what's crazy? The thing about Charlie Kirk had him on, bro. Mm-hmm. So regardless of how you feel about his stance towards. And again, I don't understand how Turning Point, all that works. Was that his organization?
It was his, yeah. And I've actually been to Turning Point events before. It's like a speaker. I didn't get invited once I started.
I'm pretty sure,
Israel, but I was invited before that.
I'm pretty sure that everyone by this point knew where Charlie stands on. I mean, where Dave Smith stands on this.
Oh yeah,
he had Dave Smith on.
Tucker Carlson's coming back this year. I saw.
He had Tucker.
I wasn't invited back with my views, but that's all right. I don't blame Charlie for that. Charlie always.
But those aren't your views similar to Dave Smith's?
Yes, exactly.
So then why did it
shows that he still is willing to speak. He certainly preferred. He pushed a lot of people out that were anti-Israel, but he would bring a couple in. Like Tucker, I think was scheduled to be. I think there's one scheduled. I don't know if it's still going to happen. Turning Point, but there's one scheduled in a few months. And Tucker Carlson, I saw, was speaking, and he's been very critical of Israel recently.
Yeah.
So it showed that it showed that Charlie Kirk wasn't 100% pushing it out. He did definitely favor Israel, but there was.
You still let him talk though. Yeah, you got to give him that. You have to give him that.
And he was starting to show a little more like, oh, maybe this is a little more complex. Like recently, there's been some interviews I just saw last night of him questioning Israel.
Yeah. Who I blame the most for what's happening in the Middle East, the United Nations. They knew what they were doing. If you were going to do 2 states, you would have done it from the beginning. You didn't. Yeah. You purposely left it like that. The British, that's really who, again, it's so hard to do. And people get mad, World War II, what the Jews went through, boom, 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 boom. Remember, my people saved them, bro. Mm-hmm. I was very proud of that. Everyone wants us dead. Look at what's happened to us. Ba, 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 ba. Of course they're going to get radicalized. They had just experienced crazy trauma, put in concentration camps, whatever happened, right? Of course, you're going to feel like everyone's out to get me. Everybody wants me gone. But who they're targeting their hatred towards, bro, is not justified.
Yeah.
You're literally killing the people that saved you. You're literally killing the people that have saved you throughout history. This is a fact.
Before World War II,
people would say, go get the Germans, bro. Mm-hmm. They almost took Albania instead. They were going to go for Albania instead of Gaza. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. No,
we were on the list of where they would resettle after World War II because of how good we treated them. We were actually on the list. We would have been the Palestinians. I don't know how many Albanians know that. And another thing I found out that broke my heart, they just did a weapons deal, $1.6 billion with Serbia, the people that wiped out my people. Yeah. Now imagine, we saved them, and they just did a $1.6 billion deal with Serbia. Cool. But how do you have weapons to sell anyway? Why are we giving? If you have weapons to sell,
weapons and they're selling it, makes no sense.
So, how does that make sense?
It doesn't make any sense. And you also see how they were trying to negotiate the peace in Qatar, and they bombed the peacemakers. Yeah, they're Hamas, but these are the guys literally trying to negotiate a peace deal, and that's who they bombed.
I just, my thing is, I see the way this thing's going. I think the whole world's about to go to war, brother. That's what we're trying to stop.
Yeah,
I'm not here going just this. I try to put myself in everyone's shoes. And what am I seeing? Fire everywhere, and the circle for people that are trying to build these bridges between communities. Dave Smith, this one, that one. People that are trying to say, yo, it doesn't have to be like this. What the fuck are we doing? Because ask anyone that's been through war. A lot of you haven't lost 30 people in your family. A lot of you didn't walk out of the World Trade Center like I did. You never want to feel what that feels like. A lot of you never got a phone call, find out your uncle and your cousins are dead. It's easy to be like, yeah, until it comes. Until you're in the middle of a war and it's hell on earth.